Y'all ready for this?
All right, everybody, today I'm going to be talking about my basketball journey and the successes that got me here. I want to start by saying I had to be a student athlete first. Okay, my academics came first because without my academics, and you notice that it says student athlete, I wouldn't have had the privilege to be able to play basketball, which has taken me all across the world, and it's taken me through a journey that I couldn't have even ever imagined. I started playing basketball at 10 years old. I just played with a lot of boys, and from there on, I felt like, oh my gosh, I love this sport, and I'm so passionate about it. So how can I create this into a career of some sort? Well, back then in 1997, the WNBA started. And so that gave me some insight on, wow, women can play professional basketball and make a living off of it. So then from that day on, every time I went outside and I'd shoot hoops, I'd say, you know what, if I make this shot, I'm going to the WNBA. And so what I was doing was speaking that into existence. As you can see on my attire, okay, I'm wearing basically my journey. Okay, so I went to college at Texas State University, which is the maroon, go Bobcats, rare. Okay, then from there, I was, my senior year, I was picked up by a coach who actually coached in the WNBA to actually play on the national team for Nigeria. Both of my parents are Nigerian. Shout out to all 180 million people that live there. And then from the national team of Nigeria, I go up here to the Harlem Globetrotters, the world famous Harlem Globetrotters, and becoming the 12th female of all time in all of their history, and they've been around for about 94 years. So I was fortunate. I didn't know that starting to play sports at 10 years old was going to allow me the opportunity to, number one, get a free education, and then number two, be able to represent a whole country of 180 million people where my parents are from, and number three, getting to travel to over 40 countries around the world with the Harlem Globetrotters. Now, I've talked about my journey a little bit, and it seems like just a journey full of bright lights and success, but there was a lot of adversity. I'll start with high school. Coming out of high school, I wasn't even ranked out of high school in Texas. I wasn't ranked in the state. And so with that being said, I felt like maybe I wasn't good enough, maybe, to be ranked. And I had to just keep on working to prove the doubters that, you know what, even if the state doesn't think I should be ranked, I know that I want to play professional basketball, and I know what my journey, where I want my journey to go. So coming out of high school, I wasn't ranked. Moved forward to college. My number one college choice was Duke, the Blue Devils, with Coach K, obviously on the men's side, and on the women's side, it was Coach Gail Gustin, of course, and just to play on that legendary court where everyone's bouncing around. Well, when Duke letters weren't coming in, I was like, all right, I'll settle for OU. Then OU letters weren't coming in, so it was Texas State SFA. So taking a visit to Texas State, I was able to say, you know what, this feels like home, this feels like family. So I landed an opportunity to play at Texas State University. Fast forward to my senior year, I wasn't drafted into the WNBA. So from that point on, I was like, you know what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do as a career? Since I know at 10 years old, I said I wanted to play basketball. Ever since 10 years old, ball was life. So I'm sitting in retail class and I get a phone call from the head coach from the San Antonio Silver Stars asking me to be a part of their training camp that year. So that was my dream being fulfilled. Now, in a couple months into the WNBA, I get cut, and I had never been cut in my entire life from anything dealing with basketball. And so of course I was heartbroken, but you know what, I wasn't gonna just stop there. I was not gonna quit. I wasn't gonna let adversity defeat me. So I moved forward, I kept practicing. I decided to start giving my skill and pouring into younger kids. I was training and coaching. And then I get a phone call from one of my friends who attended Texas State University, and he said he was on the Harlem Globetrotters. Can you imagine? That's crazy. So he was like, yeah, there's female basketball players. So he put in a good word for me, and before you knew it, I was trying out for the world famous Harlem Globetrotters. So it just shows you that you should never give up. Every step of the way, you should never give up. Have faith. What your journey is, or what it looks like, is going to be different from somebody else's journey and what that looks like. So let me tell you guys a little bit about my experience as a Globetrotter. It was the most wonderful time of my life. I got to travel. I was one of 12 at the time females who had ever been able to be a part of that team. And so when I was playing, when I was on the road and on the court, I was the only female that you would see at a game. And this was the first time that I got to show my personality. I got to perform tricks in front of thousands and thousands of people in NBA arenas and all across the world, where people are just entertained and you're just bringing smiles to people's faces. Now for the fun part. You want to be able to do this and this and maybe this? All right, I am here to teach you. Okay, so I get asked a lot, how do you spin the ball on your finger for a long time? As you notice, there's no batteries in here, so it takes a lot of practice, all right? The first thing you gotta do is get a great spin, okay? A lot of times I see kids and adults making mistakes by thinking that the ball can spin for a long time by spinning it with not that much force or power, okay? So you want to, if you want, you could do one hand, which is what I do. You get a great spin like this. Okay, or some of my teammates used to spin it this way, which I found like that wasn't as conducive for me to do. And then some people do two-hand spin, okay? But whatever it is, you start off with practicing the spin, the initial spin, without even putting it on your finger. So again, I do one hand, so right there, okay? You can let it drop, spin, let it drop, okay? Now, once you got a hang of that, now it's time for the ball placement on the finger, all right? The ball in science has a great way of finding the point of access, okay? So, boom, as you see, it's on my nail. Some people think that it's a bad thing to have it on your nail, but there's less friction on your nail than there is on your finger, okay? So again, it's a two-part thing. So first it's a spin, boom, and then up. And then it's a soft land on your finger, okay? But it's all about balance now, okay? And you've got to have a stiff finger. If your finger is loose, the ball tends to follow where your finger is going. Make sure it's pointed up, as solid as a pencil, and then the ball lands on your finger. And that is how you spin the basketball. But here's our next trick. The arm roll, okay? You saw me doing this in my repertoire, my routine, straight like that. You could start off with having your right arm elevated and the ball in your right hand. Let the ball down and off of your chest in a continuous motion. It's all about using your body in different levels, okay? So start up, let it roll, and then once it crosses the plane, now your left arm is going to start to elevate. Same thing going the other way. Your left arm is elevated, let it roll, cross the plane. Now your right arm is up. And when you start getting good at it, you can get continuous. Yeah. Now some of y'all may be wondering, what is it that Miss Joyce does today? Well, I'm a basketball entertainer. I also speak, I'm a motivational speaker, and I train kids. You can find some of my challenges on an app called Bology alongside one of my great friends, WNBA champ Tiffany Bias. So I want to say thank you to SAP for allowing me to partner with them on Take Your Child to Work Day. And also remember that we are supporting a movement called No Kid Hungry. All right, that's it for now. Take care.